Welcome back and good afternoon. You're still tuned in to Salam Media, your home of humanitarian journalism. And in a bit, we'll be shedding focus into Lebanon, where Israeli airstrikes have forced tens of thousands of families, both Lebanese and Syrian, to flee to Syria and other places in search for safety. The UNHCR emphasized the need to protect civilians in accordance with international law, but I think we can all agree that at this point, that has not been followed to the T. And in a bit, we'll be speaking to Hafiz Hassan Choonara, the regional director of Africa Muslims Agency, who's currently on the ground in Lebanon and is going to give us the latest and give us more information on the current work that they're currently doing. Hassan, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Really appreciate you giving us your time.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me on Salam Media this afternoon. Always a pleasure.
I think first and foremost, if you can just paint a picture for us about the time that you spent in Lebanon, what you have witnessed, and currently what kind of work are you doing on the ground?
Oh, so right now I find myself in the Beqaa Valley, in one of the shelters. We're at one of the shelters right now where it's housing a number of families that have left from the south. We've been to a number of shelters over the last few days where families who had to flee their homes, leave their homes, homes were damaged, forced to leave their homes, got notices to leave their homes, evacuation notices, and had to find a refuge in a number of shelters, a number of schools. Obviously, schools have been turned into shelters in Lebanon, and we've been to a number of them, assisting them with basic essentials, food, blankets, mattresses, hygiene kits, baby packs, and the like. And today, right now, at this very shelter, we will be distributing meals, hot meals, to the families who are residing here. You know, just before the show started, there was a song playing out there about Palestine, and Palestine will be free, and who'll wipe away the tears of the child, no mother, no father, and what a and how just standing here listening to that, it's a song that you hear often, so often, and sometimes it just becomes a song in your head. But we
Mm.
stand here in Lebanon, 1 year of the conflict in Gaza.
Right, we seem to have lost Hassan a bit because obviously these extremely difficult, circumstances that we find ourselves in, and network won't always be that great. The region is currently under massive attack from the Israeli airstrike. So we're going to take a quick break, and then hopefully we'll be having him back after this.
Joining hands, Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media. We're still in conversation with Hassan Choonara, the regional director of Africa Muslims Agency. We lost him there a bit because of technical issues, as expected, but I think we have him back on StreamYard. Hassan, assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can, Cirello, I can. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
reception's not the best where I am. I'm not sure how much you got of what I said.
I think before we lost you there, you're still talking about just being in Lebanon and just taking it all in and soaking soaking it all in, and the need that you have observed, and what you'll be assisting all of those affected with right now as African Muslims Agency.
Okay, I can't hear you so very clearly, but in terms of what you've asked, just to say, over the last few days in Lebanon, we've been to a number of shelters. Schools have been turned into shelters, places where families have been evacuated, families who had to flee their homes, families who've lost their homes, families who've got notices to evacuate their homes from the south, have gone to various schools around Lebanon seeking shelter. And right now, African Muslims Agency on the ground visiting these shelters, and assisting with basic essentials, with food, with mattresses, with clothing and other basic essentials, baby packs, etc., hygiene kits. We currently in the Beqaa Valley, one of the shelters here, a number of families from the south staying at this school. Just before when the show started, Cialelo, I could hear the song playing in the background, talking about Palestine will be free, and who'll wipe away the tears of the children with no parents, no father, no mother. Sometimes it's a song that we just know because we hear it so often, but how real it is when I'm standing right now in Lebanon, a country that's facing a similar situation like that of Gaza, Palestine. That country or that place, Gaza, who endured it, the children have endured it, the parents have endured it, the families have endured 360 odd days of conflict. And now we see a similar situation, a country, Lebanon, in conflict. Tense every evening, families not knowing whether they'll wake up in the morning and see their loved ones. And now that very words of children losing their parents, of families losing their loved ones, of families losing their livelihood is right before my eyes. It's something that comes to real in my mind. It's not just a song or a thought. It's something I'm seeing every single day here in Lebanon. And may Allah protect the people here in Lebanon and Gaza. And to see these young children who had lives, who are going to school, who had means, parents who had means, who had farms, who had homes, and now they are dependent on aid from organizations like African Muslims Agency to go by their day.
And I think if there's a question that's always interesting and that I always find myself pondering is just how are you able to do it? To be able to work in a place where it's literally a war zone. There's ongoing attack from the Israeli occupying forces. They've moved further south into Lebanon. How hard or how difficult is it to try and do your work to the best of your abilities?
Alhamdulillah, Celelo African Muslim Agency has teams, permanent teams in Lebanon, across Lebanon. We have offices here in Lebanon. There's projects and campaigns that we've been undertaking and facilitating for the last number of years, close to a decade, alhamdulillah. Bakeries that we run, an orphan hope project, seeing to the needs of hundreds of orphans in Lebanon, Syrian Palestinian refugee children. A school, we know about the Amman School of Excellence in the area where I'm in right now, Beqaa Valley. Not too far from here is the Amman School of Excellence, an educational facility of AMA providing extra educational excellence to the refugee kids. Many delegations from South Africa have come to Lebanon, have visited our projects here. So, alhamdulillah, yes, it is challenging in this time that Lebanon finds itself in. I won't say it's easy. We have teams on the ground, alhamdulillah, that it is a bit challenging. Obviously, ensuring that the emergency response still continues amongst what's happening around us and what we're seeing. My brothers and my sisters explained to you to meet family after family who had means and now do not have means, who had a livelihood but don't have livelihood, who are going to school but no longer have schools, who had a job but no longer have a job. They say over 1 million people, Cirello, I need right now, or internally displaced in Lebanon. Coming from the city earlier, you go to Beirut city, there isn't a parking space you could find. Forget the highways, forget the suburban roads. There isn't a space you could find. Cars are all over the show. On the corniche, the popular tourist area is littered with people, or filled with people rather, who've come from the south, pitching up their tents, their mattresses, and the clothes on the back, the only clothes that they have. I sat with an 88-year-old lady yesterday who came from the south with her grandchildren and children. And she told me, we had a home, we were living, and we were okay. And I asked her, so what do you want? What's your cry? She said, I just need diapers.
Mm,
88-year-old woman asking me, perhaps a few days ago, she had the means. She was living in the comfort of a home. She had her room, which she was comfortable with. She had her children around her. She had her grandchildren around her. She had the food when she wanted. She had somebody taking care of her. And now living in a concrete floor in a school. And she looked at me. She said, I just need diapers.
mm, mm, mm,
Allah
mm,
protect one and all. But to think of what our kids have back at home. And Allah never tests us in such a situation. But how the lives of these people have turned within hours. How the situation of these young, beautiful children have changed literally in hours. From a moment of having to a moment of not having. And I see on my right an elderly mother walking with a walking stick to think the condition and where she has come from. And now she's here in this school environment where families are sharing classrooms. You have families of 6 and 7, 2 or 3 families in one classroom, no privacy. You have communal bathrooms. And so their lives have changed. My brothers, my sisters, we're on the ground. We need your assistance. People are in need right now. And I go back to think of what happened in Gaza and what's still happening in Gaza and how it started. And I see examples of it here in Lebanon. You know, people ask, Hassan, why are you in Lebanon? What made you go to Lebanon during a crisis time? I think of the 700 orphan kids not far from here that Alhamdulillah, the organization sponsors via the generosity of donors. They don't have mothers. They don't have fathers. They don't even have a decent home. Who's going to come for them tonight? Who's going to come for them? Who's going to explain to them what's happening? Who's going to give them food? I'm not saying we the magic, but if we can play a small part in alleviating the lives of those that I need, and Allah knows the rest, and Allah will grant barakah to one and all. Yes, Ya Lelo.
You know, we often hear about, and you know, very very emotional. I think you know what you're experiencing there. But we often hear about the spirit of the people of Gaza and how they're so steadfast, and you know they seemingly can't be shaken even in the face of the worst adversity. From the people of Lebanon, their spirit and how they're taking all of this. What have you noticed?
I didn't get the last part, Ya Lelo.
I'm just saying, you know, from the people of Lebanon, just looking at them and how they're taking all of this, and you know, you're interacting with some handsome young guys there. What have you picked up from them when it comes to their spirit and how they're taking all of this that you could share with our listeners back home?
So there, I'm standing with this young boy, and I've obviously been to a number of schools. You can see this young man is full of smiles, shaking my hand.
Hmm.
You know, alhamdulillah,
Mashallah.
they're resilient, alhamdulillah. You know, I was at a shelter yesterday playing football with some kids in the courtyard. You know, just trying to take the mind off things. I just come from the Aman school, the AMS school here in Beqaa Valley. And although the school is closed at the moment, the teachers are at the school. And what the teachers of Aman are doing, they're going to the various camps around Beqaa Valley, and they're conducting the PSS program, the Psychosocial Services program for the kids that come to the school. We're going to visit the kids at the camps, the orphan kids, and to help them deal with this traumatic time, to unravel what's happening, and also to prepare them, inshallah, for online classes or possibly coming back to school in the next week or two if the situation allows, obviously. So,
Mm,
yes, there's resilience. You know, just to talk about uh, getting back to a normal way of life, so to speak, at a shelter yesterday. And the, this mother took it upon herself to conduct a class in the shelter. So you know what she's done? She's given out the Qurans to the various kids in the shelter and gathered them around a table and conducting some lessons, whether it be Quran or any other class that they have. And so just to instill a sense of normality, so to speak, into the lives of these children. It's a very
mm,
traumatic time. You wonder what people, how they go about every single day. But, you know, what I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, people I need by the minute, every morning when you wake up, I'm first of all grateful to be seeing another day. And then you realize that there are many more families that will come in
mm.
need and are looking for assistance. And we have to assist them whilst we are here, and also that beyond that when we are not here.
And I think you know, for those that are watching from all across the world, and you know, they're touched and are as emotional as you, after hearing, you know, the stories that you've narrated, how can they get involved? What's the best way that they can also lend a helping hand?
My brothers and sisters, you don't have to be in Lebanon to be humanitarian. You don't have to be in Gaza to be a humanitarian. But you can play. Allah brought it to our attention for a reason. There's a reason why we're still hearing about Gaza. That's the reason why we're hearing about Lebanon. And Allah wants us to do something. Allah is testing us in the process. And what are we going to do about it? Yes, over the last year, alhamdulillah, you've given and you've given in abundance. Allah grant you barakah, reward you abundantly. But let's open our hearts. Let's give more because more people are in need. I'm looking at so many kids and you can hear the noise around. There's so many kids around here that are in need of assistance. There's elderly people that need assistance. There are families that had and now don't have. And let us open our hearts. It's never, we never lose when we deal with Allah. So contact Africa Muslims Agency.co.za or any one of the offices or consultants around the country, and let's donate towards food, shelter, medication, and general forms of assistance, diapers, baby packs, in Lebanon as well as in Gaza. In Gaza, we are in 3 areas: Khan Yunis, Al Mawasi, and Dar Bala. We have a water tanker going around to these 3 areas, distributing clean drinking water to these families, the distribution of hot meals, dry food items, and as winter sets in Lebanon, as well as in Gaza, Palestine, the distribution of mattresses, clothing, pajamas, and items to keep the families warm is essential, my brothers and sisters. Donate. We are on the ground. We are living with the people. We're seeing what's happening. We're witnessing the situation. It's right before our very eyes. And I humbly ask you to donate and join us in this act of humanity. Join us in serving humanity and donate via Africa Muslims Agency. That's the Al-Jari, and we can assist many families, inshallah.
Well, there you have it. Hassan, we're going to leave it here for now. I'm sure there's a lot of work that you need to get to, but I'm pretty sure we'll be chatting you and I very soon.
Shukran for having me. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam. That was the regional director of Africa Muslims Agency coming to us live from Lebanon at the Beqaa Valley, Hafiz Hassan Choonara. And yeah, I think seeing it firsthand like that, just seeing those young, innocent faces, as he mentioned, ones that don't have parents, they don't have, anyone to essentially look out for them. You can be the one that assists. You can be that parent, even if you can be so far away. You can be that parent that would be able, to give them a hot meal at the end of the day, or to make sure that they have a jacket or they have shoes to wear in these very, very difficult circumstances. So yeah. Visit www.africamuslimsagency.co.za if you want to help and be part of the change in very, very difficult circumstances. The time of us tweeting from home, writing long social media posts, that time is over. What you can do now to try and impact tangible, meaningful change. And I think African Muslims Agency is the perfect example to use and to facilitate the change that you want to be a part of. We're going to leave it here for now. From myself, Salalo Makwidiri, and the rest of the team, Assalamu alaikum.